so I have now done 40 minutes into the Furina video, which definitely can be, let's be real, it might be like an hour and a half long video. I'm not joking. I have done 3 characters. I'm doing Hu Tao currently, which puts me over 40 minutes. And then I have 7 other characters I need to do. So it might legitimately be like 2 hours to an hour and a half long. I'm not joking.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
Do I regret C1? No. But I wouldn't say I necessarily am like crazy about it. Like the way I see C1 at this point, it unlocks the ability for me to get this, which absolutely would destroy, like, she would be so much better. But 3.5 like fanfare stacks for every 1% HP you lose. Basically what this means is that you're not gonna need like a team-wide healer, really. All you need is just a normal healer, which for characters like Nevi and characters like Risley, and honestly you could go ahead, it also unlocks the ability for Arlecchino to possibly rear her head into a C2 Furina team, where you can use someone who can actually team-wide heal. I don't know who though. Maybe Jean, right? Maybe you do go ahead and use Jean Arlecchino. I probably would, at that point, you'd probably be able to get away with doing so much damage that you wouldn't really need a shielder, and you would just kill the boss. That might be a genuine team that you can try. And Ito, we can use Goro as the only healer, and Furina can buff Ito with her damage bonus. It can legitimately work. That will help, you know, Ito out quite a bit. So I will say, like, there are a lot of avenues that C2 can open up for you, which is why I summon for it. And now I will say right now, I have a failed 50-50 in the bank now. I am literally sitting on a failed 50-50, so the next time I summon, I will get another, you know, guaranteed limited character. And I think that's another part of the reason, because if we go back and we can look, I don't know how much pity I was in for Jean, but I was in like 70 plus, right? So if we go back here, we can see that I got Furina incredibly early here. So we'll just got to go here. I got Furina incredibly early. It was like 8 pity, right? 9 pity, whatever. So I got Furina really early, but this could have easily just been Furina instead of Keqing, and it would have happened exactly the same, right? I just failed 2 50-50s, you know, and yeah, that basically, I could have gotten Furina, and I think that's the thing. Like, I had enough summons to get a 5-star on this banner, and then I also had enough summons to get 70 pulls extra on this banner, which I possibly could have gotten a second Furina on. I wish I did. But no, I got C6 Jean. But I will say C2 Furina is that good, and I do think that unlocking C1 was worth it. So yeah, I've been recording this video. I want to make sure I get everything that I want to say out. So yeah, but overall, her C1 just doesn't really do much for me, because you just don't necessarily have a use for, you know, this extra fanfare, really. It's sort of like, yeah, you're gonna hit higher numbers with Nevi, right? But does Nevi really need it? No. Like, only certain characters, like, you know, maybe characters like Senna, or, you know, maybe, you know, Chloride, sure, they can use the extra buff, you know, that'll definitely help them, you know, bring up their times and be competitive with other characters like Nevi, right?
You're ugly, you're disgusting, I'm gonna kill you, give me $200.
But do you need it? No, because generally you're gonna be able to get Chloride. It's just it is purely the fact that it unlocks C2, the ability to get C2, is the reason why I'm gonna say I don't regret this. Because now the next time I summon for Furina, I could get C2. And it will be during Nadalin, when Furina gets her next rerun, and we will be able to see what the meta looks like there. And we will be able to see whether it's worth it to go for C2 Furina. Now, could I have saved these, you know, summons and, you know, summon for, you know, Nadalin characters who, you know, will be a part of the new meta? Yeah, sure. And I want to point out, like, if we look back, like, I feel like we could see 3.0 characters start to die out. We're already seeing sort of like a couple 3.0 characters start to die out, like Nilou. Now, this isn't to say like die out as in like they're never usable again, like they're kind of trash at this point, like sort of Keqing at this point. I mean, well, Keqing isn't trash, but she isn't like, you know, like I meant Keqing as in like before the Dendro update. If we look at Keqing like before the Dendro update, we could all basically say like, yeah, she's pretty trash. There's no like she's not that good. But, like, if you think about it as Kaching like that, you can still, like, these characters can still get buffs. Like, I don't know, Emily probably isn't going to be a buff to this team, like Nilu's team, but Nilu, I feel like Nilu is the worst aging 3.0 character, and I think we sort of could already tell that from when she first, like, launched, right? She's only usable with Hydro and Tindro, right? So she can only really get limited buffs, and, you know, certain, like, her reaction doesn't really scale with, like, extra damage bonus. You have to be very specific in terms of the way that you build her team, right? So it's just not necessarily, like, something that we're seeing. Like, she's gonna end up being, you know, starting to fall off. She already has started to fall off. But, you know, certain characters, like, I could see, because, like, look at Ayaka. Like, dude, where is she? Like, Ayaka is just, like, this character that she's just not good enough for people to care about anymore. She just has not really gotten a change to her team, sort of like Ito. And, I mean, she has Furina now, but, like, it doesn't really help her out that much, right? And I could see some 3.0 characters starting to feel like that, because we're gonna see Nadalin, and they're going to increase the DPS cap. Like, they're gonna increase and, like, drop some new crazy DPS characters, and it's gonna destroy, like, the power creep in this game, just like Fontaine did. Because Fontaine, like, I mean, Alhaitham was the true start to Fontaine power creep, but, you know, it was only during Fontaine when they actually accepted, like, yeah, this is the power creep that we have to go with now. Because they just started releasing main DPS, main DPS, main DPS that just washed every single other DPS in the game. And they basically did sort of a soft reset of the meta, I feel like. Because, like, it's not necessarily like Ayaka's useless. You can still use Ayaka, but why would you use Ayaka when you have Risley, who's going to do more damage, more controllable damage, and he's going to be better overall, right? Why would you do that? It's just sort of like, that's the question you have to ask, because it's like, and I mean, maybe if, like, you don't obviously have the character, or you didn't summon for the character, and I'm not, like, the most meta player either. Let's be real, guys. I'm not. I use Burn Arlecchino. All right, let's be real here. But, like, it just becomes like that. It's like, why would you use X character when you have, you know, another better character, right? So it's gonna get like that during, you know, the 5.0 series. Wow, I think I've called it the 4.0 series a couple times. I meant 5.0. But yeah, I feel like it's gonna get like that, and I feel like C1 Furina isn't really gonna, you know, help me, because, like, I would rather have one of the new 5.0 Nadalin characters that are gonna destroy the game compared to a C1 Furina, which isn't really gonna do me much. Now, once we get to C2 Furina, then we can talk. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts on C1 Furina. Make sure to subscribe if you did enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.